flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first item is the review of the 2013 budget calendar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Currently, we are on schedule, as which the board approved. Individual departmental meetings will be taking place this week to review their budget recommendations and their budget proposals. It'll run through Friday of this week. This Friday, we'll also be meeting with the various community groups and organizations that have requested funding from the township. And then next week, we'll be working through, again, from those numbers, continuing to keep working on the budget. So that's where we are on the budget calendar.
Do you have any questions on the budget calendar? Any member of the public have a question on the budget calendar? Okay, the next item is review of the internal 2013 budget preparation process.
Mr. Chairman, on that one, I want to thank the board. Since the beginning of the year, we've held approximately 9 meetings reviewing and discussing the various topics and challenges facing the township, various presentations for not only the 2013 budget, but also for the long-term financial planning for the township. And I want to recognize the board for spending a lot of time with that, with a lot of the various meetings, which have been lengthy at times. But also, too, any of those presentations that were made, if anyone wants to catch up with those, they are on the website. You can go to the township's website under the finance department and click on that page, and then underneath the item for reporting and budgeting is all the presentations made. So anyone who wants to get caught up from the public or see those are all posted to the township's website. So you're able to follow back on all of those. So we continue that process here, and we are on target for a presentation to the board on October 15th. Bill, I know you want to bring up on CARFAC.
Sure. At the same time, well, actually, when this whole calendar was put together for the process, we wanted to make sure that CARFAC was involved in the review and prior to the board seeing the budget. So at the same time, these numbers are being developed and finalized internally with the departments. CARFAC has seen, or has in their possession, a copy of the draft numbers as they were submitted on Wednesday from the internal departments. We're getting together on Wednesday to step through those and go through some of the questions I've already received from some of those folks. That's scheduled for Wednesday. At the same time, they're working on finalizing the report to the board on the pension and OPEB, which they hope to finalize on Wednesday night in advance of getting that distributed to the board for the meeting on the 27th of September. At the same time, also part of the calendar includes CARFAC looking at the budget again on October 10th, one more time before it ultimately gets distributed to the board on October 15th. So that's working concurrent with the internal development that we're going through on the budget as well.
Commissioner questions? Comments? All right, next we're going to have public comment on the Township 2013 budget. Comments may include, but are not limited to, Township finances, Township services, including police protection, code enforcement, recreation programs, stormwater management, and public works, which includes solid waste, highway, and sewer and park maintenance, as well as the potential of outsourcing of various Township services. Is there any public comment?
Kathy Mulroy, Library Director. This may seem a little tangential, but it really isn't. The township was doing an energy analysis or audit of some kind. And from our perspective, our energy costs are fairly significant in our budget. Were there ever results from that study that could be turned back to those of us who had our bills and all that looked at?
Do you mean the emissions inventory?
No, it had something to do with electricity, and the guy came in and he asked for a bunch of electric bills and stuff like that. And I understood they were looking at it to see if we were paying the right rates and if there was a better deal or that sort of thing.
That was the energy audit. Bob, did you oversee that?
We're currently still working with that with another vendor and putting that together, which involves, you're exactly right, on the electrical use and the switch over to LEDs and what the cost savings would be, and being able to track that through, because it's our understanding that when you switch to the LEDs, the electric rate changes too. So it's not like where you can get a true savings that I think PECO has found out that they're going to save money, so then they change the rate for you then, so that those savings may be a little different. But that is in the process of being worked on, not only with all the facilities, but also with street lighting.
Right.
Of what that
Yeah, I know
impact
the
will be.
streetlights, there's that PICO thingy changes.
Exactly.
But I know there was also a discussion about joining a consortium for possible better electric pricing. Has the township pursued that? And
Yeah, roughly a year and a half ago, I think as part of when the state went through the deregulation, we were taking a look at and joined a municipal league to see if there was some pricing advantages in doing that. What we found is that any advantages to be gained for regular electricity consumption, we would lose on higher pricing on the street lighting. So at the end of the day, it turned out to be basically a wash, and we elected at that time not to move forward.
okay.
And then shifted gears to what is being looked at now in terms of the actual lighting fixtures and if there's a cheaper alternative there.
So there is no opportunity for those of us who are in township buildings to participate in that consortium pricing? Because we don't have streetlights. We do in the
Well,
parking
yeah,
lot.
I guess I wouldn't say there's no opportunity. That's definitely something that we could take a look at.
Okay, thank you.
So on that, do we get, does a municipality get a discount rate on the electrical rate per kilowatt, or is it the same as, say, a residential customer?
To be honest, I'm really
You don't
not
know?
sure. Yeah, we take care of making sure the bills get paid. That's something that we work with the Public Works Department on. Something that we could take a look at.
All right,
But I
thanks.
don't know sitting here right now.
Yeah, all right.
The public comment? Any commissioner comment?
Well, I had a couple of things that I wanted to just clarify before we get the budget. I was looking at the financials that came out this week, and just our regular financial report, and I was thinking about the money, the account, and the money for the stormwater management fee. And I'm wondering, is that in our budget as an expense, or will it be in 2013? Where does that show up, the money that we've earmarked for that?
For the engineering study,
Yeah.
you don't see it yet. That's money that's going to be diverted from or transferred out of the general fund into the special storm sewer fund.
So will that be in the 2013 budget?
It'll be in a later iteration of the 2012 one once we get it cleaned up, because what I'm waiting for right now is the completion of the post-employment benefits fund. Instead of doing it piecemeal, do the stormwater now and then do another one next month. I'd like to get it all put together at the same time, just to try to keep it a little
So
bit
it's
cleaner.
nowhere yet, but by the time we do the 2013 budget, that'll show up somewhere.
Yes, yes.
All right, so
It'll show
along
up.
those lines, the OPEB account that you just referred to, is that going to be a separate account like the open space fund and the sewer fund are separate accounts, or will that show up in the general fund ledger?
It will be a separate fund outside
Okay.
of the general fund. So it'll be set up similar to, at a minimum, it'll be set up similar to, say, the open space fund. Or it could be set up in a similar way as the pension funds, where it's an actual separate trust that has a little bit more legal issues surrounding the availability of the money and the use of the money at that point. That's
And
what we're
so
still
then-
trying to figure out.
Will we see the money that we send over there in the transfers out column?
Yes.
Okay.
It'll show up in the general fund as a transfer out to the post-employment benefit fund.
Okay, and then my last clarification along these lines is on the capital end of this. So we now have a line item in expenses, capital. I think it's just called capital. Is that where, if we are earmarking money from a surplus or from extra money, is that where that will continue to go?
Yes. Yeah, I'd like to show it as an actual transfer coming out of the general fund, just so there's a clear trail as to where the money came from and where it went to, so that it can always be traced. So, yes.
Okay, all right. Those were my only questions.
Maybe I can just expand upon that, and I think that was a good move by the board that made that any of those balances that were remaining, that those would go to address the liabilities of the township, which I believe coming up shortly out of the 4 big ones that we had with compensated leave balances, capital budget funding, OPEB, and pension. I believe we are working towards taking care of 2 of the 4 and then putting a long-term strategy together of how we're going to address the other 2. And even through those, with some of the changes that are being made, I think we will start to see some differences being made in which those liabilities will go down.
Is there anything that, Bob, is there anything that administration needs from the Board of Commissioners in addition to what's already, showing up for the meetings, being prepared for the budget meetings? Do you need anything from us?
I think what's been good is I think you've gotten a lot of information, the feedback we've gotten through those meetings, and then when we met individually with each commissioner to be able to get some input too, I think has been very helpful for us to be able to see where we need to go and the challenges, because I think this year a lot of this information that's been presented has helped us. I think it's helped staff be able to see where it is. But also I think a lot of this information we've discussed is CARFAC has been involved a lot in the process to be able to also offer recommendations as well. So not only from the board, but also you've got CARFAC, you've got staff, you've got kind of everybody aware of what all these situations are, and that, we're not going to fix these things overnight because we didn't get here overnight, we're not going to get out overnight. So I think a lot of this information, this dialogue has been very helpful to everyone to be able to follow the process of putting the pieces in place for 13, but also beyond, as we develop a long-term financial plan, which I think is beneficial because whether or not administrative people change, commissioners change, there's a plan that everybody can continue to follow, and that we address those as the township does well in managing its fund. If there is a balance at the end of the year, those are diverted to take care of these liabilities.
Okay, just to reiterate, the Board of Commissioners will, on September 24th at a regular meeting, will adopt the MMO resolution. And then on September 27th, members of the Finance Subcommittee will meet with CARFAC. So that's that's a Thursday. September 27th is Thursday?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's
And-
an exec, though, because it has personnel matters as a big piece of it.
Yeah, the agenda for that meeting will be almost entirely executive session to discuss matters of personnel, so.
Okay. And is that a meeting of the whole board? Have we decided that? Has the board?
It was,
Okay.
anyone from the board can be there. It's not just
Anyone?
the-
Okay. I'm just making sure. Okay.
What time's that meeting? 7:30 or 5:30?
I think we did 5:30.
5:30? Give me a chance to play basketball Thursday. All right, any other comment? A motion to adjourn? Second?
Move we adjourn.
All those in favor? Passes 6-0. Thank you all for coming out.